like a G is supposed to. I'm from the old school, no one comes close to. Post it up and I do what I want to. Post it up and I do what I want to. I keep it G like a G is supposed to. I'm from the old school, no one comes close to. Post it up and I do what I want to. Post it up and I do what I want to. I keep it true and I mean every last word. I was fooled by the truth, real gangsters. White tee creased up with a strap too. I'm from the bottom where we earn all our tattoos. Boy, it's taboo when you living just like I do. Air is up and you know we keep it all blue. I keep it loony and I don't mean like cartoons. They talk brave till they hear that click, clap, boom. It is what it is, we do what the G's do. Celebrate so we hot box the whole room.
You are now watching M.O.D. Entertainment.
Now, as we continue the countdown, but this time now making our way to the area that is known as the southeast of Los Angeles. The southeast of Los Angeles is areas that consist of like Whittier, Artesia, Norwalk, places like La Mirada, areas like that. And also the area of Pico Rivera. Obviously, Pico Rivera is home to several different barrios, who have been well established here and doing their damn thing, for quite some time. You have the Rivera Viejos, Pico Viejo, Pico Nuevo, Brown Authority, Sunrise. And you also have the barrio, which is the Rifa barrio, which is the barrio HSR. HSR translating to barrio Horseshoe Rifa. Horseshoe Rifa is already a well-known barrio within this area. Well-established, already going back, long time. Now, the Horseshoe barrio territory is everything that consists of what's Beverly Road all the way to Whittier Boulevard all the way to Dorothy to Paramount Boulevard and back around. Everything in the middle is what consists of their territory. Pocos pero locos. Although this neighborhood may not be as large as, let's say Rivera Viejo, Pico Viejo, don't ever get it twisted. Real individuals that have been really doing things, within this area for quite some time too. Even though they never got to be the size of like these other neighborhoods, don't get it twisted. They still had their homies that did real things, you know what I mean? They just don't be busting people just for selling, cookies out here, you know what I'm saying? So even though people can say whatever they want, facts speak for themselves. People just don't get arrested for nothing, like I said. Now, when it comes to the Horseshoe Rifa's barrio, the reason or how they got their name was because of the area, geographically how it's designed is shaped like a horseshoe, kind of like a cul-de-sac, so like a horseshoe. So that is how they got their name, Horseshoe, and then obviously the Rifa part, just to let people know that they rule right there. And I am aware that there is a Horseshoe gang that's in San Jose that are norteños, and at least from what I was told, is that they actually started off from this branch, that they had homies from, down here who, moved up there, and how they became norteños up there, that's beyond me, I don't have that knowledge, but at least from what I was told is that they did come from this, Horseshoe gang. But since then have no connections with each other, so they're two different barrios, but they originally did start from this one down here, at least from what I was told. But yeah, that's what's up with the HSR right there, the Horseshoe Rifa representing for the homies and the area of the southeast, and, Rivera right there. Now, as we make our way now to the area that is known as the SGV, the San Gabriel Valley, Sur Gangster Valle. You already know the SGV is home to a lot of different barrios, and even though people recognize the SGV and its ghettos to be more like areas like Puente, El Monte, Bowen, Azusa, places like that, there is other areas in the SGV that get it cracking as well, who have been well established there, for quite some time as well, which is the barrio SDR, which is located in San Dimas. Now, SDR translating to San Dimas Rifa. San Dimas Rifa is already a barrio that has been well established here since the 1960s that this barrio was established. So like I said, the barrios, within the SGV also go back a long time. Don't get it twisted. Don't think that, it just like is all a LA thing. Some of these barrios, are really old as well. Who've been really doing things. I know people think of areas like, Laverne or Monrovia, where I see people put like, there's no gangs up there, or San Dimas, are people that just don't know what they're talking about, because these areas do get on and cracking, and have been right here. Even though the areas maybe now have been gentrified, it don't mean nothing, you know what I'm saying? Just because an area looks nice doesn't mean that it is nice. They can still get it on and cracking. San Dimas being no different. Now, because they do, have obviously a few hundred members to them. And it is not the only gang within the area, just because people think that it's lovely doesn't mean it is, because you have vitals like Laverne First Street, the 200 block Cribs. And then not only that, but in LA County it doesn't really take that long to get to another area that is gang infested. You know what I mean, traveling distance is not that far from any of these areas. So it's only it's a little it's, a short drive away. Now their territory is everything that consists of areas like what's our Arcadia Street, all the way to Arrow Highway, all the way to Cataracts Avenue, all the way to Bonita Avenue, and everything back around. So everything that's in the middle consists of their barrio. Now, for those who don't really know where that area is at, it's everything that's around the Pioneer Park, the San Dimas Skate Park. So if you know where the Pioneer Park, San Dimas Skate Park's at, well, congratulations, you're in the heart of the hood, the belly of the beast. It's everything that consists of all those back streets in that area. Is the heart of their hood. And like I said, it is a real barrio that continue to still be established and doing their thing and representing for the SDR, the San Dimas Rifa right there. Now, as we continue the countdown, but now heading towards, a different area, now making our way to the area of Orange County. Yay. You already know Orange County is definitely another part in Southern California that is definitely gang infested, throughout this whole entire area. But to be more exact, we shall be maneuvering our way to the area that is known as Garden Grove. Garden Grove is an area that is full of a lot of different vitals as well. It's not just areas like Santana or Anaheim that have their share of vitals, but also, the surrounding places, one of them being Garden Grove. And it is here where you're able to find the barrio EWR. EWR translating to barrio Evil Ways Rifa. Not to be confused with Evil Ways Familia. I did a video, covering that if you guys want to know about that. They're two different barrios. Now, the Evil Ways Rifa is a barrio that has been well established already right here within this area since the later 80s, early 90s when this neighborhood was established. And I am aware that this barrio started off as a tag bangers, a tagging crew, but then, transitioned into neighborhood roughly around the later 90s, early 2000s when they became a neighborhood. And they've been really doing the damn thing right there in Garden Grove, one of the neighborhoods that represents out of the Grove in Wayne, talking San Andreas. Now, their barrio is everything that consists of, Chapman Avenue, all the way to West Street, all the way to Lamson, all the way back to Harbor Boulevard, back around. So everything that's in the middle is considered their barrio, which is a decent size of territory, you know what I mean? Everything that's where the West Haven Park's at and all the, obviously all the surrounding area, back streets, is where you're able to find this barrio, doing their thing. At least from what I was told, roughly around, 80 to 90 something members to them. So, a decent size, for a neighborhood that hasn't really been around as long as, let's say, some of these other gangs, that have already, decades right here. So it grew in numbers awfully fast and, continue to still be established and doing their damn thing for the Evil Ways Rifa right there, representing for theirs. Now, another neighborhood that you're able to find roughly around these parts, but now heading a little bit more down, but still, consists throughout this area of what's borderline Santana and Garden Grove, which is the barrio DCR. DCR translating to barrio Down Crown Rifa. Barrio Down Crown Rifa is another neighborhood which used to be a tagging crew, tag bangers, before they, transitioned to becoming neighborhoods, roughly around that time period when, some of these, tag banging crews, made that leap, to becoming neighborhoods. So this one as well, no different. It was already a tag banging crew that had its reputation and their homies that were doing their damn thing, establishing their name. And they are not to be confused with the rest of the DC neighborhoods that are out there, because there is several of them that were tagging crews that made this change. They were all separate, so they have no connection to the ones in the A1A Valle or the ones in Pomona. This in itself, it's its own entity. Now, and their territory is everything that consists from Garden Grove Boulevard, all the way to New Hope Street, all the way to where the Garden Grove freeway passage is at, and to Harbor Boulevard and back around. Everything that consists in the middle is considered their barrio, the danger zone, throughout the area of, Banner, Glen Cove, Larson. All of that is what consists, of their barrio. And this neighborhood, at least from what I was told, they're not that big as like some of these other neighborhoods, roughly only being about 50 to 60 members. Still, a barrio really doing their damn thing out here. Because like I said, there is a lot of different barrios, around the area, so it does get chaotic. But the DCR still continue to represent theirs and putting theirs on the map. Now, as we make our way down, but not having to travel far at all, just crossing over the Santa Ana River. And as soon as you cross the Santa Ana River, it is home to one of these Rifa barrios, which is known as the Barrio DSR. Not to be confused with Dark Side Rifa, this one is Dark Side Rifa, or Dark Side Santana. Dark Side Rifa is a well-established neighborhood right here. Not a large neighborhood, but still a recognized neighborhood that used to be a tag banging crew as well. Roughly around the later 80s, early 90s, when this crew, was doing their thing, gaining their reputation. Somewhere along the later mid 90s, they became a neighborhood, established themselves, and did their damn thing. You know what I mean? They were a large tag banging crew that handled their business. So making the transition to a neighborhood wasn't really that difficult for them. Now, it is a real barrio, like I said, and their barrio is everything that's where McFadden Avenue, all the way to Fairview Street. From Fairview Street all the way to Edinger Avenue to where the Santa Ana River's at and back around. So everything that's in the middle is considered their barrio. Throughout Windsor Park, all the back streets, almost by where Andrew Jackson Elementary is at, all those back streets is what's considered the Dark Side Rifa barrio. And like I said, they have no connection to the Dark Side Rifa barrio. I already did a video, breaking that down. If you guys want to go watch, you guys can go watch that video. There are two different barrios. And like I said, they just share similarities, both being tag bang crews that became neighborhoods. Now, at least from what I was told, where they got their name from was when they were, just tag bangers and stuff like that, was big in the graffiti scene, People have to keep this in mind. These neighborhoods were started by young kids, you know what I mean? Teenagers, 13, 14, 15 years old, you know what I'm saying? When people look at it from the aspects of now adults, to them it may be seen like odd, as some of the names that these neighborhoods give, but people have to keep it in mind that there were young youths that were the ones that started this neighborhood. And, one of the things that they had told me was that Star Wars and the the dark side and all that had an influence. I'm not gonna say that that's where they grabbed their name from, but it did influence somewhat when they were coming up with the name for their tagging crew of what to name it. You know what I mean? It played an influence in their decision making. But overall, it's a real barrio that's well established right there. And it didn't only stay here in Santa Ana, but also, spread out into several different locations of Orange County, establishing, smaller chapters and doing their thing and continue to still represent for the Dark Side Rifa right there. Now, as we still maintain here in the area of Santa Ana, not even traveling far, all these areas are roughly right next to each other. These neighborhoods are just, literally just streets away from each other. So, it becomes very, congestion and very chaotic within these areas. You know what I mean? And so you do have several different Rifa barrios. The next one over is known as the Barrio BSR. BSR, translating to Barrio Brown Side Rifa, Los Hustlers. Like I've always said, all these neighborhoods have, other, names that their mascot names to their neighborhoods, Dark Side Rifa being Los Assassins, these guys being Los Hustlers, Brown Side Rifa. Has nothing to do with the rapping group or nothing like that, you know what I mean? This is, separate from that, it's its own barrio right here in Orange County. Roughly one of the more smaller neighborhoods, but nonetheless a real barrio that does real things. They have real individuals that really be about the business, and their barrio is everything that's from Edinger. The territory extends all the way to Greenville Street. Greenville Street, their turf goes all the way to Warner Avenue. Warner Avenue all the way to Fairview and back around. Everything that's in the middle is considered their barrio. So everything that's through Pomona Street, St. Andrew Street, Harvard Street, Maywood Avenue, all of that is considered their barrio. That's the nucleus of their neighborhood. All those back streets. You don't want to be caught slipping because, like I said, these individuals handle business. Like I said, and this neighborhood was roughly always a smaller bunch. At least from what I was told, is that they were roughly about 65 members to the most. But they do have other members like in Mexico, and so they do have branches in different locations. And like I said, it's still a real neighborhood that really do their thing right there in OC, representing for the BSR, that brown Side Rifa.